It's here, everyone. Another model that I didn't think I needed until it was announced. Of course, I'm talking about the new Orruk Megaboss, one of the two free models that you get with a subscription to Warhammer Plus. So, without further ado, let's watch the trailer. Okay, let me replay it so I can go through it. This is not an ad for Warhammer Plus, by the way. So, let's take a look at this model. Right off the bat, I really like how they've painted this. It honestly looks like they've gotten better at painting the original Orruk brutes. I don't remember them having this much detail, especially on the hands. Maybe I just haven't looked close enough. But it does look like he's kind of painted to fit in with the uh, way that they've painted the Kruleboyz a little bit. One detail I really like is the fingernails. This is actually one of the things that annoys me about the Kruleboy models. Um, if you haven't noticed, none of them have fingernails or toenails, although the Hobgrots do, and same with the goblins for whatever reason. But yeah, that's a nice detail. But it means I'm going to have to go and sculpt fingernails and toes on my Kruleboyz when I pick them up finally. But yeah, it looks pretty good. Nice amounts of detail. Let's go forward a bit. Yeah, I don't have too much to say about this. I do like the detail of a cape. That's not something you see on a lot of orc models, and I like how large and crappy and orky it looks. It really fits well. Um, One thing I don't like is how these bones are directly modeled onto the armor plate. It's not something I was a big fan of when the uh, Orc Ironjawz were released the first time, but it looks like it's easy enough to shave off, so it kind of matches um, the rest of the models I'll eventually have. I like the detail of holding what I assume is a Stormcast helmet. Yeah, it's pretty solid. Let's go forward. Okay, let's see. Uh, Nice little details of skulls on the cape. Um, there's a lot of stuff going on there. I kind of like how the skulls are different. For example, it looks like this bottom one is missing a few teeth. Um, I will say though that although I like pretty much everything here, I do not like this skull on the shoulder pad. It would probably benefit from being a separate piece, um, because it kind of looks like, because of how they do the, I believe, injection molding, they can't have overhangs, so that's why it seems overly flat and not very detailed. So yeah, good thing I'm planning to shave those off completely anyway. Um, yeah, besides that, I don't see any detail I don't like on the main body. It's all pretty nice. This is a little bit weird. I'm not quite sure how these are attached. It looks like they have been kind of like welded and screwed onto the bone, which I like. But from a distance, it kind of looks like this is awkwardly like jutting out of the middle of the bone. Or I guess that's a horn, which may or may not be a bone. But yeah. Looking at the front, um, he's a little chunky. That was the main joke I had seen online when they originally teased it earlier today. But from this angle, it's not that bad. It looks pretty bad from other angles, but it kind of works, especially because it looks like he has a lot more armor plates happening than the rest of the Ironjawz, with these kind of thigh guards. So I don't know my armor naming, and this extra chest plate over top of the main chest plate. I like the detail here. Some people were confused and thought this might be a sixth finger, but it's actually the spike on one of his wrist guards. You can definitely tell it kind of curves in on the other side, so yeah, no issue there. I like all of this, except for one detail, and of course it's the eye patch. I don't know, something about eye patches on orcs look a little bit odd to me. I guess this one's a bit more orky because it's literally bolted into his skull, but yeah, I'll probably remove that and then just give him kind of a messed up scarred face instead, which should be pretty easy. It's not like I'm having to resculpt a perfect orc face under there, so not a big deal. Yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about this. It looks really nice. And then they kind of do this turntable. It looks like the little boss pole or whatever it is attaches a little bit oddly, but I think that's just a painting choice. If this was painted something other than yellow to match, it might work a bit better. But that's a very minor gripe, I guess. Yeah, he has a nice neck. A little bit of funny sculpting going on there, but not a big deal. And yeah, I really like the pose. It's pretty dynamic. Some people will probably complain that he has a foot up on a rock, but it's not a big deal to me. Yeah, I will definitely be picking up this model with my subscription. I do have an idea in mind for introducing the the Orc Ironjawz to the Kruleboyz army I mentioned in my first video, but I will get to that in the future. Because we're looking at these, I might as well look at the other model, although I'm far less interested in it. It is the, what is this, like a Vindicare Assassin? Let's turn this down. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's look at this really quickly. Personally, it's not my style. I'm not big into Imperial Guard stuff, but it is a nice model. It's a little bit odd for like an army piece. I'm personally not a fan of like the moving terrain idea. That's why I like my bases to be very simple. I'm kind of a fan of the leg on a rock because you don't have to worry about like some thematic thing like a dead guy. That doesn't really work if you imagine like the immersion of an army. Like, do they drag the dead guy around with them? I don't know. Doesn't look very good to me usually. But luckily this looks pretty easy to convert. Um, I doubt his legs would be attached to this because Games Workshop should know that this is very impractical to actually use in a game. But worst case scenario, it doesn't look that hard to separate them. How do I feel about it? I don't have a lot to say, but the first thing that kind of jumps out to me is that I feel like this needs more detail. It's very, I don't know, almost fantasy-esque. I'd expect more like buckles and just small details that are usually on straps on it. Yeah, I clearly don't have a lot to say. Besides that, yeah, they have buckles here. That's a That's decent. I just wish there was a bit more happening on the back of the model. But yeah, this would be a nice piece for like a golden demon or something like that. Um, there are a few things that kind of stick out to me that I'm not a huge fan of, but they're pretty minor. First of all, I don't like how you have these two metal bars just sticking up. Uh, it's a little bit silly because this part looks so good, but then this is just like, oh yeah, it's a stand. I wish there was um, a way where this was incorporated a little bit nicer into the base. Another weird thing. This is a pretty minor nitpick, but these metal bars across her boobs just seem kind of funny to me. Like they needed like support on this statue behind the boobs in particular, and they're still in place, yet the rest of them are gone. They kind of remind me of like X shaped like latex or tape that people put on their boobs sometimes, which is just kind of silly to me. So if I were to pick up this model, I'd probably snip those off, make it a bit more streamlined. But yeah, nice models. That's all I have to say. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed them too and know which one you're going to pick up if you decide to subscribe for Warhammer Plus or to Warhammer Plus.